one of the most liberating parts of this time and what I realized going into my 30s was like, I can trust the timing of my life.
This podcast is a Dear Media production.
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Welcome back to another episode of Girls Gotta Eat.
Your birthday month.
Oh my God.
Happy June.
Is it Gemini season?
Yes. So we didn't have an episode last week. We missed you guys.
I hope you guys had a
Memorial Day.
slutty Memorial Day.
Slipping and sliding.
Yeah.
I love June.
Fuck yeah. The best one.
It's the best
so
one.
Good.
So countdown to Rayna Palooza starts now.
I'm so excited, Ashley. I spoke with our host for the house last night, and her and I are just like coordinating like the alcohol and the gift bags, and everything is just like
coming
confirmed.
together.
And I made a mood board for everybody's outfits. I got really excited. You made me laugh so hard because I sent you the mood board, and it's festival themed, and I was between like Coachella and Burning Man. And at first I was like,
For someone who hates Burning Man.
So Melanie was like, you should
Real
Burning
appropriation.
Man. Yeah. And I was like, I can't appropriate Burning Man. I've never gone to Burning Man. But then I started looking up Burning Man festival wear versus Coachella. And it's very me. It's like just crazy,
costumey,
over the top, costumey. Whereas Coachella is very like, I don't know, flowy dress. You know, it's not flowy dress with cowboy boots. It's not for me. I mean, I love it, but I'm more Burning Man. So anyways, I put together mood boards last night, realized I'm more Burning Man. To do a lot of feathers, a crazy like hair piece, hat thing. I mean, it's going to be wild. I'm so excited.
I know. Well, I kind of bought some stuff that was a little different than what I thought you were going for.
You said real vanilla, and you sent it to me, and it's a mesh bodysuit.
Well, it's like a dress that you'd wear over. You'd wear over a bikini. We'll put up on the screen. You guys decide if it's a dress.
It's a net.
Like a cover up. It is a net.
Real vanilla.
It's like the thing that you get those Baby Bell cheese in. It's like that's the net. That's what I'm wearing. I'm dressing up as a sack of cheese
with nothing else under it. Nipples poking through.
But then it like came to me what I'm wearing.
I've been trying to invent more.
And it is something that why am I teasing it like it's my birthday? It's my fringe skirt that I wore on the road last year that was in the running for Beyonce, and then I didn't want to wear it. It's like a belt essentially with just a bunch of fringe, but it was expensive. It's real leather. It's
gorgeous. I love
and
it.
I'm just going to wear it with a bikini. I'm dying. I'm so excited. Just with a black bikini top.
I'm so excited.
But am I going to be wearing like cowboy boots by the pool?
I don't know. So festival wear is always kind of like boots.
Like your feet sweat.
Yeah. And so I don't know because it's going to be hot.
It won't be that hot.
It's going to be the evening in early June.
Yeah, all right.
But I did think of that. Like it is always like boots and stuff.
But it's tough to be like the weather warm enough to rock a bikini top and nothing else, but also cool enough to wear a boot.
Keep your feet
with a
toasty.
sock.
People do it in the desert at Coachella.
100 makes me sick.
I know, me too.
I can feel it.
I feel like people will keep those on for the pics, and then those are coming off pretty quick. I'm going to do 2 outfits, obviously, like it's my wedding.
Yeah.
I couldn't narrow it down.
My fiance has this great outfit. My current fiance, sorry. I need to get back to calling him my current fiance because it's taking off.
Oh, it is?
A bunch of people sent me a reel of this woman, and she says my current husband, and they were like, you started this. I was like, I did.
I think it's so funny. You just started it by accident. I think it's a nice way to let people know that I could still
100%.
You could be one of many. We could end this right now. It's a good way to play hard to get.
My fiance for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
At least we'll see. We'll renegotiate in 10. But he had this outfit and it's this like crocheted. It's a shorts and top set, and the shorts are really see-through. So you like obviously he'd wear something under it, or you just see his dick.
Dick out.
But he's not gonna have dick out. But I think he's gonna wear it with like a brief.
Fuck yeah.
It's good. It's very sexy.
I hope guys get into it. And in my mood board, I did include 3 couples in the mood board, all from Burning Man, obviously. And Taylor too was like, do you think I can get Blake to wear this? I was like, yes, get every man. And honestly, at first I was like, I'm not putting men in this. I don't care about men. I don't care what they wear. I don't care if they come.
Yeah, but you want them to be on theme.
I do.
They can't ruin the photos.
For the photos.
Yeah.
Get a tie pant from Amazon.
Yeah.
You know? So anyways, I'll send it out to everybody. You guys stay tuned. It's slowly happening. But all right, well, let's thank our partners and then we'll get into it. Thanks to Boulevard. Get 10% off your first year subscription when you book a demo at joinblvd.com/GGE. And Article, get $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more at article.com/GGE. And BetterHelp, get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/GGE.
And thank you to Simply Pop. Go to cokeurl.com/simplypop to find out where you can try Simply Pop. And Rocket Money. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions at rocketmoney.com/GGE.
So before we get into the episode, we have a big anniversary coming up. Our company, Vibes Only, our sexual wellness business, it turns 3 this week.
3. It's a toddler.
Really, it's so special.
3. Can you believe we've been grinding this out for 3 years? Can you believe we've been masturbating for work for 3 years?
No,
Our whole lives, honestly.
When you met me on that trip, did you think we'd own 2 businesses together?
I know, and we're talking about a third.
I know.
Well, doing something else.
We're doing other things. We're going to do more stuff. But last week, we let you guys know that we launched a stroker egg for free with every $50 purchase. So it's the hand job helper.
Mm-hmm.
You get that on your man's D, or you just toss it in his bag, let him do it himself. But we like it as a couple's toy.
Yeah, I think it's a good couple's toy. Yeah, so you just squirt some lube in it. Our juiced up lube obviously is the perfect lube. And you just put it on his dick and slide it up and down.
Go to town.
Amazing experience.
It adds a little bit of texture and just, it adds some zest to your hand jobs.
Yeah.
And that'll come free for you guys with every purchase or $50
While
or
supplies
more.
last. So it's not forever, so get on it.
And then we re-released Juicy Peach Suck and Blow Gel. So oral enhancer for any body part. It's one of our best sellers. Just get it on there, one little drop. It's kind of the texture of lube, and it'll make for better, wetter, juicier oral on
sex.
anything.
Yes, and next week we have some really fun, exciting news. So just stay tuned for that. And then our anniversary is actually this Friday. So June 6th is when we launch the company. But next week we'll celebrate. We'll do a big drop. You guys will see. It's very, very exciting.
Yeah. All right. So you have a story you want to tell me?
Well, my last tour stop was in Salt Lake City.
Not last forever, but like your most recent.
My most recent.
one.
Yes. I ended the tour.
She misses me.
In Salt Lake. Honestly, the shows were so good, I could have ended it. No.
I knew you would love it.
We love
it.
performing in Salt Lake City at Wise Guys. And I have shows this weekend, if you guys are listening, in Pasadena. And then the rest of the tour, I'm just like so excited about all these different places I'm going. You can get all this list of cities and tickets at ashhest.com. But something really funny happened in Salt Lake. So I was like doing crowd work to open the show, and I talk about like Mormon stuff. You guys can go see a reel I have on my Instagram. But this was the show the night before of this clip I posted. And I was crowd working, asking couples there, and there was a throuple there. And the setup of the throuple was the man and the woman had been married for 8 years, and then they brought in this other woman, and she'd been in the throuple for 3 years.
Okay.
And so I'm talking to them, and I'm like, what's your name? And she was like, Kathy. I'm like, that's not your name. Like, what's a fake name?
What's about to happen?
Well, no, I think they were just giving fake. I mean, no one's named Kathy.
Okay. I'll give my thoughts later.
So I'm talking to them, and then I said, Kathy, are you monogamous with them, or do you date other people outside of the throuple? I was also like, is throuple the right word? Am I like saying like, is it a slur? Yeah. So she was like, no, I'm married.
What?
And I was like, where's your husband? And she was like, at home with the kids.
What?
And I was like, does he know? And she said, no.
What?
Yeah, she's saying this out loud. There's 300 people in the room.
Holy shit. Also, Salt Lake isn't like New York City. I mean, there's it's not
smaller. Yeah.
It wouldn't be crazy for people there to know her.
Yeah. So I'm like, is she fucking with me? Is this real? There's
Crazy.
hundreds of people in the room. But I swear we had a throuple before in Salt Lake. Like I remember the throuples that come to my shows. Denver for one. We had some freaky couple in Salt Lake before. Anyway, so I'm like, this is crazy. The audience is like eating it up. So about halfway through my set, I like went to talk to her again because she was on my mind. Like, Kathy, what's up? She was gone, nowhere to be found. The man says, Kathy's in the bathroom. I'm like, all right. And then I don't know, maybe 10 minutes later, I look back over there. I just caught a glimpse of him because he was on his phone. And I would call someone out for being on their phone, but I couldn't hear him, and it was brief, and I just kept it moving. Whatever. I wasn't going to let myself get distracted. I couldn't hear anything. It's insane to be on a phone during a comedy show.
Something's like very wrong if you're on the phone.
And it was quick. It was short-lived, as long as I know. And then he left, and then I look over towards the end of the show, and they're all gone. So I'm like, what happened? And then I'm like, guys, the throuple is gone. And then someone's like, well, her husband must have found out.
Yes, absolutely. Her husband found out.
And so I'm like, who snitched in here? And I'm like, is her husband in here? Like,
It's highly probable that somebody in the room knew that person.
Well, right.
I mean, no offense to Salt, like you're a small city. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, and I didn't even realize this. Wise Guys is the only comedy club in the state. Like if you like comedy, you're there.
Right.
Which not to say, I'm just saying it's like a funny thing. It kind of goes to show how much of a smaller community it is. Yes, it's a legitimate city, but you're so right. Like,
okay, here's what I would do if I was her. I would just be like, this comedian started talking to me and I just like made up a fucking story.
Right.
She's a sex podcaster. I just like made up something funny. Like, that's what I would do.
Yeah. And then the next night, I was like, asked again, like, any throuples in here by chance? And of course these girls were like, we are. And it just sounded not
like
real. Yeah, it sounded like a lie. And who knows, not to say, but it's like, you definitely could just lie to be funny at a show. So she could play it off. But I was like, what the fuck?
I believe that they are a real throuple. And
Totally.
I found out that's clearly what happened. What if that's how you found out that your partner was cheating on you?
Right.
That someone else at a comedy club heard her announce it in front of 300 people.
Or I don't know, does her husband have her location? And then he's like, oh, Kathy's at Wise Guys. So is Billy. And he's like, hey, Billy, my wife's there tonight. He's like, so funny you should say that, John. She's here with a couple. She's in a relationship.
I wonder if, he knows that couple and he has to know them, right? And then again, there is plausible deniability. I went to see a comedy show with my friends. 3 years. How do you cheat for 3 years? Your spouse doesn't know.
Right. Like how much time is she spending with them? She has kids, allegedly. I mean, who's to say if any of this is real, but it made for some fun crowd work.
People in Salt Lake are wild. I'm so into Mormon Wives right now.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the first season. I'm obsessed with the second season. I mean, crazy stuff is happening there.
It's such a crazy place because it's like 50%
Mormon.
Yes.
Okay.
It's the most religiously homogenous demographic in the country.
Wow.
So that's why people aren't stereotyping when they say oh, everyone in Utah is Mormon. It's
totally.
actually, but it's interesting because, and you guys can go watch this reel I posted. I asked if anyone's Mormon and nobody is. A few people were previously, but there's no Mormons at the comedy show. I mean,
we asked
maybe
also when we were there the last few times and it was usually just no.
Yeah. But the girl that hosted for me was. I was like, this is interesting.
Well, my only touch point to Mormonism is Mormon Wives.
Yeah.
And some of them, I mean, they just sort of span, they're all Mormon, but it spans how religious they are.
They swing and stuff, right? Isn't that the whole thing of Mormon Wives?
Well, some of them are previously swingers, but you do sort of understand, you start to think about the psychology behind the ideals around what women are in the home and what women are meant to do. And they get married really young. I mean, a lot of the girls in the show are 24 years old. They have 3 kids. So they get married super young. And the ideas around sex and it's just different than, I don't want to say, than a progressive society.
Well, so I do this bit, and it's fine. I'll give it away because it's on my Instagram now anyway, where I talk about the average age that women get married in the U.S. And it's 28.6, whatever. I have the clip posted. It's fine. If you come to a show, don't yell it out like someone did in Miami. So, but when I say that age in New York, LA, Chicago, the women are like,
gasp.
In Salt Lake City, they're like, whew, seems old.
That's their first divorce.
So my host, her name was Carrie. She was great. She was 37 and had 4 kids.
Of course.
Been married since she was 20.
Of course.
So I thought she was this young comic. I was oh, you're new. She is newer to comedy, which I love that. Mom of 4 started doing comedy 2 years ago. Fucking love it. But I was like, oh, you're new on the scene. She has mother of 4. Ma'am.
I mean, I'm involved in the culture now. So it doesn't surprise me.
I'm getting married 22 years after she did. And I still think I'm a young hot.
I was thinking the other day because I was with my nephew, somebody saying to me, your son's so cute. And me being I am so far outside of this.
Oh, when Steph and I took the boys out to a lunch, and we're in Rehoboth, it's a very gay, friendly community. Everyone just thought we were a couple. And we're both these tall women. We have these 2 sons. When we were out rolling around with those 2 boys, I think people were oh, what a cute couple.
They left their husbands. They got together. They're so progressive. I just thought when somebody was your son's so cute, I was just not old enough to have a son.
Totally.
Me?
Yeah.
And I was like, I am old enough to have like a 20-year-old
Well,
son.
someone thought I was your mom. So anyway, okay. What do you have to tell
I'm really
me?
short. I had the funniest experience the other night, and I was like dying to tell you about how I have a date with this guy tomorrow, and
Woo!
I'm dying to tell you how I met him.
I don't know this, you guys. This is an exclusive.
We laughed so hard. So I went out to dinner with Jackie, who we talked about a couple weeks ago.
Third host of this podcast.
Every day Jackie texts me and she's like, do you want to go for a walk? And I can't tell her I'm busy because she has my location. She'll see me go on the walk.
I love that we talk about Jackie because she actually is a true fan of the show.
And her boyfriend.
We have friends that don't listen, which is fine.
It's fine.
But you're not a real one.
Her boyfriend will
And you can't
text
come to
her.
my wedding. I'm kidding.
I know. How do they even know anything about us? Her partner will text. She goes, he listens before I do.
I love it.
I know. I think it's cute. So she asked me if I wanted to like third wheel their dinner on Sunday night. I was like, yeah, sure. He picked me up. He paid for my dinner. It's great.
Yeah,
Sounds
sure.
great. I'll do it. So we go there. The three of us sit at the bar, and there's these two like pretty cute guys sitting to my left. And I'm like, how am I going to talk to this guy? And so they get some food, and I'm like, oh, I'll just ask him what he got.
Totally.
I'm going to preface this by saying I worked in restaurants my whole life, like 15 years in restaurants, went to culinary school, know a lot about food.
Yeah.
I leaned over, I like touched his arm, and I was like, that looks
Oh, not
so...
the touch of the arm.
Yeah, I like to touch people. I was like, oh my God, that looks so good. What is that? It's a charcuterie board.
What is that?
I got to show you the photo. Like, I sounded so stupid. I sounded like the most helpless person in the world. It's
just meat
bread
on a
with
plate.
mortadella. I was like, oh my God, I can't possibly identify that.
That's so funny. I mean, like, I guess technically you could wonder what meat that was. You know it's mortadella.
Yes.
But somebody might not. You could, what meat is that?
I was cosplaying that I didn't know. And this isn't the funny part of the story, but Jackie sent me that photo this morning. And I was like, I really did ask a person, what is that?
So this is also while we're here, and it is a good way to open up a conversation. A lot of times a drink is a better move because you really don't know what's in there. I mean, I guess it's a dirty martini. You know what the fuck it is.
Drinking a beer. Yeah.
Yeah. I know. What beer is that? That sounds really desperate. Yeah. But like a cocktail, I mean, I went out to Soho House one night alone, like recently when I was in New York, and these guys come over. I was not trying to talk to anybody, but of course they're like, what are you drinking? Like, it works.
Yeah, of course.
I don't want to talk to them, but
people just want to tell you like what their good ideas were, you know?
It's so funny to ask what something is when it's so obvious. You're like, what is that? They're like, it's a piece of corn.
Also, I wasn't at the Cheesecake Factory where the menu was 50 pages long. There was like 7 things on this whole menu. I could have deduced what that focaccia bread was next to some meat. But anyways, so we talk a little bit, and then at some point, Jackie and her boyfriend go to the bathroom together, which, whatever.
Okay.
Not an important part of the story, but good for them. So I start talking to him again, and he was wearing like a hat from a place I go to sometimes. So we were talking about that. And they come back, we start talking, my back's to him, but I kind of see my peripheral vision. He's like getting ready to leave. And Jackie's boyfriend's like, get his number. And I was like, I don't know how to get his number. I've like, the interaction has ended. I don't know how to like get it.
Get back in there.
He goes, I got you. And he goes, hey man, what's up? My name is, and he tells him his name. They like shake hands and they start talking for like 2 seconds. And her boyfriend picks up my phone from in front of me, hands it to that guy, goes, can I get your number?
Iconic. What a wingman.
It was unbelievable.
Why not?
Oh, I loved it.
Exactly.
And it was so clear that he like picked up the phone from in front of me.
Yeah.
Because like it could look like the three of us were a throuple.
Totally.
And that
we'd love you to join this throuple.
Honestly, if that had worked out,
totally.
Fine
Either
too.
way.
But he was like, yeah, I would love that. And so he like took my number. But before I put my number in his phone, I go, are you single? Like, I just, you never know.
Yeah.
And in LA,
he's like, actually, no. He hands the phone back.
You got to ask the, like, is anybody under the impression that they're dating you? Like, you just never know with somebody. But yes, they seemed like 2 guys at the bar. We were trying to figure out what the vibe was.
I love that. 2 guys on a bro date.
I really was like, good for them. At a cool new restaurant on a Sunday night, hanging out at the bar.
Totally.
I mean, clearly you're here to meet me. You're at the bar.
Right, exactly.
So he texted me right away. He asked me, like, is there anywhere you've been wanting to try?
Oh my God.
And so I picked a place that we're going.
Wow. In the wild.
Feel free to use that. I mean, I just loved my friend's boyfriend being a wingman. It's so funny. What guy is not going to laugh at that? I think that's hilarious.
I like that too. And even going back to like, what is it? When it's so obvious what it is, then it's even more obvious that you're flirting. You know what I mean? And if someone is like, it's obviously meat on a plate, then they don't like you. So then like if they engage, it doesn't even matter what you ask somebody. If they find you attractive enough, they're going to engage.
I looked also so shitty on Sunday night, which we always
That's
say,
how
like,
it
the worse
works.
you look.
Yeah.
I had 5-day unwashed hair,
Yeah.
wearing a ball cap, jean shorts, and a baggy white shirt, no
Yeah.
makeup on.
Yeah.
It's all uphill from here.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But in the meantime, I started kind of like flirting with the bartender. And so I'll show you him also.
Okay.
And I wanted to ask you, so he's the guy behind that plate of food.
What?
What? He's cute.
That guy? That red face? No chin ginger? Maybe it's a bad angle. You don't like that guy. Rayna, I did not see that coming. The last guy you said was hot had like a tattooed face.
That's my preference.
Rayna either wants a guy who looks like he just broke out of prison or weirdly is a ginger. It's just like that's your two ends of the spectrum.
I do. I really like
no melanin to be found.
Have never
or
seen the sun.
He looks like he's on parole.
With light on fire in the sun. No, totally.
Okay, so
well, he was Australian. Does that make him a little hotter?
Yeah, makes it better.
Yeah,
you get like 5 points for that.
Totally.
Okay, so anything with him?
No, I mean,
Okay.
I was going to ask you your opinion about this. It wasn't about him being cute. I was going to ask you if you thought he was hot. No, this was a behavior that I hate that people do, and I'm wondering what you think about it. So he starts talking to the three of us about something he does for work in the art world, and
The
I was like-
bartender?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know, like everybody in LA
Has another
also
job. Yeah,
has
yeah,
like
yeah.
another job. He does something in the art world, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds like really cool. Can I see your work?" And he was like, "Yeah, do you have Instagram?" And so I handed my phone to like look his account up.
He followed himself.
He followed himself from my account.
No, a red flag.
I didn't notice it until later on. I'm like
That's
scrolling
straight to jail.
stories because you know when you follow somebody, their story comes up immediately first, and so I was like, "This motherfucker followed himself from my account."
Yeah. That's always a funny thing.
Then I'm like, I want to go back to this restaurant, so I can't unfollow him. I will be there, and I would like free drinks, so I can't. I don't want to follow this person.
I know, it's so funny. Someone approached me after a comedy show with improv and does something that would work for my wedding. Basically, it was like, I want to do your wedding, and I was like, okay, I'll get your info. Are you on Instagram? And so he pulls up his Instagram account and I just screenshotted it. I was like, I'm not going to follow.
That's what I always do.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
screenshot it.
Yeah, I need to be more selective with my follows. There's too many people I follow.
I can't imagine being so presumptuous that I would
wanna follow
myself.
you.
Like if I wouldn't follow myself from somebody's phone, and people pretty often hand me their phone.
Yes, exactly. Like I treat people how I want to be treated. Like when people look me up on Instagram and I put Ash Hess in their phone, I hand it back to them so they can make the decision on their own what they want to do with it. Like this isn't 2014. We're not throwing out follows like we used to.
I'm not doing it. Also, listen, I have 500,000 followers. I'm sure you would love for me to follow you. I'm sure that would be great. But I should reserve that. It's my account, my choice.
So now you have to unfollow him.
I can't unfollow him because I want to go back there and I want to get free drinks.
Well, now people are going to look him up to see that face and that lack of a jawline. So you got to unfollow him for his own benefit.
Oh, fuck. Listen, I just think it's crazy. I would never do it. I would never be so presumptuous as to follow myself from somebody else's account. It's crazy.
It is. It's a crazy move.
I wanted to ask you what you thought about it. Okay, I'm glad you think it's insane.
Okay, let's talk about our partners, and we will get into it today with Krista and Lindsey. We're so excited for you guys to hear this one. Okay, I'm telling you about a new partner, and this is Boulevard. So if you have your own business or you're in the business of self-care or you offer any sort of high-end personal experience, you and your clients deserve a modern, easy-to-use client experience platform that works just as efficiently as you do. So again, if you have a salon, med spa, any other personal care company, then we're speaking to you. This is why you really might need this service. Boulevard is the #1 client experience platform built specifically for appointment-based self-care businesses because salon spas, barbershops, med spas, and other self-care businesses are so personal. The platform powering your business should feel the same. So it's not just software, it's a smarter, more personal and organized way to manage all your business's locations in one place, whether it's online bookings, payments, appointment reminders, client profiles, and more. Boulevard makes every interaction seamless and every part of your business look polished and professional. So this is just so important because even if you're like starting a business, this is where to start. If you're like, well, I want to open this thing, but how am I going to do all this stuff on the back end. Like that's why these things exist.
100%. And it instantly just elevates the business to the customers.
100%. Yeah. So no more no-shows, scheduling headaches, or chaos behind the counter. You're just going to have smoother operations and happier clients. Plus, Boulevard helps you elevate your marketing, generates custom reports, manages memberships, taking your business as far as you want to go. All that stuff is so, so important. Like those reports, like the different platforms that we use to run our businesses. Like we couldn't run the businesses without them. Mm-hmm. So you can see why top beauty and wellness brands choose Boulevard to empower their team and grow their business. So if this speaks to you, you guys can check it out. We have a deal for you. Right now, Boulevard is offering new customers 10% off your first year subscription when you go to joinblvd.com/GGE and book a demo. So that is joinblvd.com/GGE. Book a demo and get 10% off your first year subscription. Joinblvd.com/GGE.
Okay, and you guys know I'm obsessed with home decor, and summer is around the corner. It's pretty much upon us, so what better time than to redecorate your outdoor space? I cannot recommend using Article enough. Article makes it effortless to create a stylish, long-lasting home at an unbeatable price. I mean, you go to their site, you see how people have styled everything, and they have tons of different styles, so I really gravitate towards the coastal look, but they have mid-century modern and Scandi-inspired pieces. It just really pairs well together. You can see how they've styled it with their designers. You can see how other people have styled it on their social media and Instagram. Quality is fantastic. The pricing is really unbeatable. Packaging is great. The weight and feel of the products. And in terms of your outdoor space, I mean, whether you're looking for something large like a couch, which I really recommend the LAHOLM Leom, I think how you pronounce it. It's an outdoor corner sectional. It's absolutely beautiful. They have it in a couple different colors. I like the ivory a lot. Or if you just want to elevate it with new end tables, they have great lanterns. They have this Bori small lantern, which is just a great way to elevate your space in general. You can do it on their site. There's just tons to choose from. And the whole delivery experience, just start to finish, absolutely fantastic.
It's the best.
It is really the best.
I think you and I, between the two of us, have ordered from every furniture company that exists within reason, price-wise, and like that they're the best.
They are, and they schedule it with you. They're super, super easy to work with, and they offer fast, affordable shipping across the U.S. and Canada with options for professional assembly if you prefer a hands-off experience, which I do. Article is offering our listeners $50 off your purchase of $100 or more. To claim, visit article.com/GGE, and the discount will be automatically applied at checkout. That's article.com/GGE for $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more.
Okay, and an incredible drink for summer as we get into summer is Simply Pop. I'm going to tell you guys all about it. We are so excited. Simply has launched a new prebiotic soda, Simply Pop, the new juicy soda. There are 5 flavors: pineapple, mango, lime, strawberry, citrus punch, and fruit punch. We love this. I mean, I obviously, like, who doesn't want something that's going to be prebiotic and that's going to taste great, made with real fruit juice? Simply Pop supports gut health, so big on gut health, with 6 grams of prebiotic fiber, no added sugars, sweetened with juices. Monk fruit extract supports immune health with zinc and vitamin C. Simply Pop is flavor that pops. I really love all the flavors, but I'm just like a pineapple, mango kind of tropical flavor. I also love a lime. Any citrus fruit I love, but they all are really delicious. Again, made with real fruit juice. And you pair that with the zinc and the vitamin C, and it's going to support your immune health. You just really can't beat it. So this is all new. You guys might be hearing about it for the first time here today.
Heard it here first.
And we really encourage you guys to check it out. You can go to cokeurl.com/simplypop and find out where you can try Simply Pop.
All right, guys, we are so excited to welcome back former guests to our show. They are the host of a women's top wellness, spirituality, and self-development podcast, Almost 30. Since its inception, they have amassed over 100 million downloads. They have completed a multi-city tour. They host in-person retreats and online workshops. They built an unbelievable platform and community that, honestly, Ashley and I are so inspired by all the time. Their debut book, Almost 30, A Definitive Guide to a Life You Love for the Next Decade and Beyond, is out tomorrow. Please welcome back to the show, Krista Williams and Lindsey Simcik.
Hey. Love you guys.
Hi,
the way I want to crawl into my skin when I hear people read a bio is like crazy.
Oh, most people enjoy it when I do it.
What are you kidding? I want to jump
I love you reading it, but I'm like,
Rayna, that was so cringe.
I don't know. It's not even you. I just am like, oh.
She's like, you're so mad at that. It's cringe.
You guys talk so much. It's like, really, you're such OGs.
I mean, you guys are OGs. What do you mean?
Yeah. We all are.
Literally, I think it was you guys and us in the beginning. That's like in my brain what it is.
Yeah, we invented podcasts. podcast.
We did, you guys. Well, your book, I mean, reading the intro to your book, and you guys will talk about it, but it harkened me back to the beginning of me and Ashley starting it also, and just being like, what's the next move? What are we going to do? And it was like the Wild West of podcasting back then.
I miss that. We used
So
to make
wild.
up prices and be like, we think you should charge $250, and they'd be like, okay. We're like, okay. We don't have any proof, no proof of concept.
Yeah.
We're like, we'll just invoice you, see what happens. Like, and it was the best.
Yeah, it was a lot
But I
of
also
fun.
think about it like, because I was so desperate to leave my corporate job during that time, it was like I was determined to make it a business, and we were determined to make it something.
Mhm.
Just because we were like, we have to have this be a thing. And it was so fun, but unknown at the time. And I kind of missed that like Wild West of podcasting time.
Do you guys?
Totally. Yeah, but it was also like you didn't know what was going to happen. Like shit would just blow up.
Yeah.
You know,
No.
like you guys started in 2016?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, even
September.
earlier than us. Like people ask today, and the advice is not the same. That I could never give you advice on how to start a podcast
Totally.
today
Don't.
from 8 years
Yeah,
ago.
don't. Yeah, that's
No,
basically
live
the
your
advice that we
dreams,
give.
you guys.
Totally. I was like, do TikTok.
Yeah,
I just
every
started
12
TikTok.
seconds I send
Started
Ashley
TikTok.
another person that's starting the podcast. I'm like, it's brave.
Yeah.
I admire your
Dude,
bravery.
peace and blessings.
Do it
honestly.
if it makes you happy, but not if you want to like
Make
make a
money.
huge business out of it. To be honest,
Yeah.
it's hard now.
Unless
Yeah.
you're a huge celebrity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like back in our day, you didn't have to be.
No.
We were just
We weren't.
nobodies.
Mhm.
Sort of. We had followings, but you know what I
We're
mean.
just girls on the floor of our closet that were like, but I think what made you guys so successful is a little bit about ours. It was just like our authentic connection and chemistry. Like you guys have such an
Yeah.
authentic connection and chemistry that like stood the test of time, that stood the test of time for
Mhm.
us, that I think really kept us going. And I think a lot of people also stop.
Yeah. And I like talking about this. I was chatting with Rayna the other day about podcast hosts that are actually best friends.
Yeah.
And this is no
Sure.
shade. Some people don't claim to be.
Yeah.
Like we
Mhm.
have recorded with plenty of people that are like, we're just colleagues.
Yeah.
And you guys are really best friends. For
How could you do that as colleagues, dude?
You could totally do that as
think you
colleagues, but
could.
you just wouldn't have. I don't think you would have that certain chemistry that
Yeah.
really is the je
Yeah.
ne sais quoi
Yeah, yeah,
of
yeah.
like a show.
Well,
you
we
know?
just our
Yeah.
intro to every episode is us talking about like a trip we took together and this dinner we went to
Yes.
together, and like you wouldn't have that as much. But since the last time you guys have just been through a lot of iterations of your own lives
Yeah.
together and
Yeah.
like living in LA, and I'll let you tell it. But like since then, I mean, we've had marriages, divorces, babies.
Mhm.
Well, one of you had
I
a baby.
was-
Krista's still 20.
Chris is still
I'm-
27.
I don't know what you guys are talking about when I was 21 when we met. So my thing
is
is
almost 30.
You guys, my thing is lying about my age now that I'm single because I don't want anyone to like know the range. So it's just so bad.
Do you lie on your dating apps how old you are?
I'm not on apps, but if you
Okay.
meet me in person, I'm like
You used to be on
33.
apps.
But I used to do this. I was intentionally vague.
No, I'm
Yeah.
vague. Like the person I'm dating right now thinks I'm a different age than when like actually.
Are we going to air this?
Actually, if he came to my birthday and I had to be like, you guys do not tell this man. I was like, no singing. I was like, no singing the number. I was like, just say happy birthday. No clarity.
Nobody sings the number.
Well, like, I
Do
didn't want
they?
them to be like happy 30.
What if there was balloons
Seconds.
and you're?
Say it.
I
Yes.
can you see her walking to her birthday party, popping the balloon?
Oh, what do you
Those
mean?
Balloons that say like
no, but like someone walks
happy
out with a
40th.
candle. She's like, how many fucking candles?
I
are
would.
there?
I'd be like, haha, that's a crazy joke you did. It's a weird thing. And I know it's something I need to get over and work on. And I know it's something that's wrong with me that I will work on, but that's not my journey right now. But when we were, when we met, it was 2021. I was like engaged to be married or married, I think. I thought I knew.
Can I just tell you my favorite deflection in the world is I know that's something I have to work on, but it's not my journey right
It's not
now.
my journey right now. I'm not working on other
So,
stuff.
such a woo way of saying not my problem right now.
It's just not my.
No one can push back on that.
It's not my journey.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, you're acknowledging it. You're saying you're not wrong.
Life is long. You can deal with things later.
Everyone will be like, "Oh, you should
Yeah.
accept your age. Where are you? What? Cool.
I will eventually.
I will.
I accepted my age a week before my 40th. I accepted it. I was on the
Wow.
Peloton and acceptance came over me. I PR'd that day with Cody and I accepted it. I had a conversation with my friend about it and she was like, you got to get over this. What are you going to do? And I'm like, you're right. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
And I just literally, I would say I had a moment of acceptance on like July 1st.
What were you feeling
Wow.
about 40 before that moment?
I mean, I've talked about this in the podcast. I really wanted a partner to start that decade and that era. But I just was like women in entertainment and, aging and all the things that like are constantly in our head. Just a lot's going on,
Yeah.
with being a woman who's
Mhm.
aging.
I've had to think about. I feel like there's a part of me that feels like I'm too young where like my gurus or the people I look up to are older. They're like 50 plus. Like Mel Robbins is like a friend, and she's someone I really
sat
look
in
up
that
to.
chair.
She's the best.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I'm like, people don't respect me because I'm too young, and then I'm too old for some things. You know what I mean? I'm always like,
Interesting.
too
Yeah.
much, not enough type thing. Where I'm like, with men, I'm too old. With business and career, I'm too young. It's like, and I've had to watch that where I'm like, where am I making myself just not good enough for any world?
Yeah.
You know what I mean in this?
Maybe it's because I'm getting older, but the people around me that I really relate to are people my own age. I think the standards of beauty are really changing.
Yeah.
I think like 40 isn't what it used to be. And I was talking on the intro of our podcast recently about how like I'm almost 40 and a lot of my friends are now reaching this phase of their life where they're having kids and getting married for the first time. And I don't think that was people's experiences. I mean, mine is pretty rare, but it would have been unheard of 20 years ago to be almost 40 and your friends are in that phase. So I think just the idea of age has really changed a little.
There's research now that says that more women in their 40s are having children than teen moms.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I would love to see it.
Literally, I'm like, this book I'm reading is a fucking Instagram post. I always say that. I'm like, oh, this book
And
is
everyone's
like TikTok.
getting married later. Everyone, like everything is happening later.
Yeah,
I think people are more focused on their careers and just like also doing that work on themselves.
Yeah.
Just to be able to step into those next iterations of the relationship of whatever they want to do.
That is a great segue into the
thank you.
book because you wrote about basically this existential crisis that a lot of us have between like 27 and 30 of like, who am I? Where am I going? Do I like myself? Do I like the people around me? So can you guys just talk about like the inspiration for that phase of life of being almost 30?
Yeah, Krista and I met during this time. So we met at 27
Mm.
and we were just going through it. I'm sure you guys can relate. There's just like this breakdown or seemingly what a breakdown might feel like of like, damn, should I be like farther along in my life? Like I haven't found my person yet. Shouldn't I be with my person? And like, I thought I was going to be married and have kids by now, or what's my purpose? Like just these questions of like, who am I really? Where should I be? We both felt this like pain in that and just like we should be farther along. And so in our friendship, we started talking about it, started the podcast, all the things. But in doing the podcast, we also learned that astrologically something was happening.
Yeah.
Astrologically and neurologically. So I'll speak to the astrological first. The astrological transit for astrology girlies out there is your Saturn returns. So it's this time when Saturn comes back to the place it was when you were born. And basically Saturn, the planet, is working on you in a very like tough love type of way. And so you are going to basically be shown aspects of your life that need tending to. That might be misaligned and you really have to look at and get honest about. And through knowing yourself better, you can make better decisions that are more aligned for you. It's tough. It's like, it's a time when, yeah, it feels like everything's breaking down, but it's really an opportunity for it all to come together. But it's, hindsight is 20/20. And we can say that now.
You said that's like between 27 and 30 for most people.
Yeah. So every 29 and a half years, they say it comes back around. So I would say you're going to start feeling your Saturn return probably around 27 through about 30.
Yeah. And we're perfect examples, like, because when I was younger, I was like, oh, 26, I'll be with my man. 28, we'll have kids, and then it's like, oh, we'll have 3 kids and we'll live in a house and da-da-da-da. And it's like, I don't have that, obviously, and I could not be more happy with where my life is. And when I was in my later 20s, when I met Lindsey, I was struggling so much. Like I was so depressed. I was so anxious. I hated my life. I wanted to find purpose. I wanted to find my reason for being here. And I think so many people in that age, and even still today, struggle with purpose, struggle with finding meaning in life. And I think if I would have known the important impact of the Saturn return on my life, and also your prefrontal cortex is coming online. So basically, your prefrontal cortex is responsible for your emotional regulation, your decision making. When you're younger, you have so much emotion, but you don't really know what to do with it. You're like, I'm just overwhelmed with emotion. I'm making irrational decisions. Like I'm going out and I'm texting and calling him and I don't even know why. So when you're in your later 20s, you actually have that ability to process your emotions and feelings and choose where you're going. And I think when that part is coming online, there's such an opportunity for you to create a life that you love and become the person that you came here to be.
Yeah.
The 27 thing is so real.
Yeah. What were you guys? What was up with your life then?
I mean, that was I quit my job in PR to just, no savings, just to be a freelance writer and go out on my own completely. And at the same exact time moved into my first apartment that I ever by myself. I didn't have a roommate. So just no job. I mean, I had a few freelance writing gigs lined up, but like, I just remember like sitting on the floor of that apartment because I didn't have a desk. I was like at the coffee table. It was so hot. Like I had a window unit. I had this dog to take care of. I like could barely pay my rent. And that was like the year I was like, I'm really doing it. Like I went out on my own. I'm on my own completely, but still like, I want to find a partner. Like,
Of course.
Like,
what do you mean?
My life would be better if I had a partner. And you look back and you're like, how like important was that time to also be single and find yourself?
Right?
What
and
were
it's 28. My fiance left me. My whole fucking life exploded.
Oh, right.
I mean, I was like, I did it. I got engaged by 27. I did the thing. I'm gonna be married at 28. We're gonna have kids at 30. We're gonna move to the suburbs. I mean, you had the whole fucking plan. And he walked in the door the night before our engagement party and left me. And I mean, my whole life exploded.
Saturn Returns.
But like, I changed my job. I built all these friendships. I didn't care about friendships. I just didn't have that many really close girlfriends. I hadn't built he was my whole life. And I hadn't traveled and my career was taken care of, but nothing else was. And so you're just like, oh, I've stripped everything away. And you look around you at that age and you talk about it in the book that you look around you and you think like everyone's got it figured out, but I don't. And that's a lie. And everyone is on a constant journey to quote unquote figure it out. But you do think like, well, my friends are engaged and they all have good jobs. It's like, no, they don't.
No, they hate their lives.
And we're talking about this like timeline that we think we should be on, like the married by this age, kids by this age. And I think like, such one of the most liberating parts of this time and what I realized going into my 30s was like, I can trust the timing of my life. Like even when it feels like, where the fuck is my person? I can trust the timing of when they come in because I mean, again, hindsight is 2020, but what is for you will never miss you. Do you feel that way now that you're with your person?
Yeah. I can't imagine it working out any differently.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's what's crazy is like you could tell that girl that was like working at that desk in that hot room, like, girl, just wait. It's going to get so good. Like, it's going to work out. And even for you, like, if you were telling that 28-year-old girl that just got broken up with, like, yo, your life is about to be better than you can ever imagine, you'd be like, are you insane?
You know those TikToks that say, like, I got coffee with my younger self? And they gut me because I just think, like, I just would tell her, like, it's going to be okay.
Oh, I can't do it because I'm get too emotional.
No way.
I haven't, like, done the trend. I could cry right now.
You watch them, though?
Yeah.
What would you tell her?
Just like, it's going to be okay. You're going to make it. You're going to be financially stable. You don't just stress about this. But also, like, fear keeps you going a little. Sometimes it's like, but what if I don't? Like, people would always tell me, like, Rob would be like, you're going to make it one day. You're going to do this. I'm just like, but what if I don't? Like, something like that keeps you going. Like, especially people think you are going to make it and you're like, now they're counting on me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That
I
adrenaline.
like that intersection though of like being like, I'm not sure where I'm going and having it propel you forward and also taking a moment to like pause and be like, I enjoy where I am today. And I think it's hard to do that too.
That's huge.
So
but the partner thing, maybe that's even what I would tell her is like, you will find your person. It might be later than everyone else that's your age, but it will happen and it'll be the like right person. I think.
And meaningful and deep. And for you, I think something that's interesting that you said is like, I think when we're younger, we're sort of socialized to make our person everything. We're like this man, we kind of give our whole life. We're like kind of lose our friends. We kind of let go of friendships and we just prioritize that relationship so much because that's like the dream is to have the husband that we like work towards. And then it's like now you've been gifted the opportunity of having really deep, meaningful friendships with people and like reclaiming your relationship with women in a way that I don't know if you would have been able to or had. And it's like, what a gift that you were given this renewed sense of female friendships because it's the best.
Oh my God. I think about if I could go back 10 years and tell that girl, like, you're going to be a success. You're going to change women's lives. You're going to build out all these friendships and you're going to make a bunch of money and you're going to have great sex. Like, I think about how devastated I was. And if I could just tell her, like, it's going to be better than okay.
But you got to bust your ass.
Yeah, I worked a lot.
Obsessed. You still got that part. You're like, but you got to work, bitch.
No, because I'm like, don't get too comfortable.
We're from like the same generation of like work fucking hard.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
We're millennials. It's just
millennials work hard.
Like, grind it out.
Yeah.
Maybe to a fault.
But we didn't, I feel so lucky and we're a little older than you guys, but just at least being able to be so much older than Krista. Krista could be my daughter, honestly.
Literally.
Krista's like, talk about yourself.
Snuck in.
But just not having to be inundated with it on social media. Because this is not a hot take, but like kids today, women and young women are seeing people really make it and be on those lavish vacations and have all the money in the world and maybe have the partner too and have everything you quote unquote would want at the early 20s. And we just didn't have to see that shit.
Yeah.
Like I didn't feel as much like I'm behind because we were not seeing it on social media.
Yeah.
Like, yes, marriage and kids is one thing that's on Facebook, but like the careers, like the career stuff.
I think we all have different kind of lenses that we see the world. So some of us, it was like finding the person.
Yeah.
Some of us, you know, it's other things. Mine was like purpose and career. I've always dated. I've always been in relationships since I've been young. So I just knew I'd find a man. I knew I'd be with a man, whatever. So mine was always career and purpose. So I was always with the lens of like, I wanted to have a purpose. I wanted to have a career. I wanted to feel like I was here for a meaning. I wanted to have a lot of success. And that's what like drove me insane in my 20s. I was like, how could I fucking find a way to do this? Like, how could I find a way to live? And I think for a lot of people in their later 20s, it's like, what is the thing that keeps them up at night? Or what is the thing that like drives them to like seek for more?
So that was for you and Lindsay, same or
Finding
different?
my person.
Finding
my
your
God.
person.
Yeah,
But
I
isn't
wanted
that
so
like-
desperately.
But then the two women, I'm not saying you guys, but you look at the other type of woman and you're like, I wish I could just be, you sound like someone who's never had a problem getting a boyfriend and keep, like, you know, like someone might look at that and be like, I wish I could just be like her.
Yeah,
and
that's
you're
true.
thinking, I wish.
No.
No, yeah.
I think for me, I think I had a great dad. My dad's struggling now with his health, but
I'm sorry.
no, it's okay. But so I think I've always had a great dad in relationships with men. So I've always felt like good with men. And honestly, I think for a little bit I was really good at self-abandoning. So I could always find a man because I would always be like, what do I have to do to like get with them? You know what I mean? Like, so it was easy for me because I'm like, I will do anything to be with them. Now I'm not like that, but you know.
But you did.
I just had this, I was with someone in college and a little bit out of college, thought it was my person.
I want you to talk about
then-
this story because I loved it in the book.
Yeah, that's your person who you think you're going to marry, telling my Nana, like, he's my person. Absolutely put money on it. And then there was something inside of me that said different. And I was like, no, like, he's my person. We can't fuck this up. Like, captain of the football team, like, we're going to have a good life.
Timeline's right.
Yeah, timeline is right. I'm like, do not, like, my heart was like, hey, there's just a few things that, like, aren't quite aligned. Like, we got to look at this. And so when I started to really like get honest with myself, there were some things that like just weren't aligned.
Wasn't aligned?
Well, first of all, I think it was timing. So our track of maturity, like if we were to have met later in life, maybe, I don't think we would be together, but I think maturity wise, we would have gelled a little bit better. But there was some anger on his end. He was drinking a lot. Like there was just some things
kids
about,
also.
literally we're kids.
Literally kids.
We're kids.
Also just college dudes. You know when you date someone in college, they have like punch holes in walls and stuff.
We always say, people like write in, they're like, he cheated on me. You're like, you're in college.
I know. I'm like,
I'm not minimizing
standard,
it.
really.
But like, it's just, I don't know.
He's going to grow up and be a different person. And so are
Or
you.
not.
And
but maybe.
And I felt like I had really big dreams for myself. And I felt like I couldn't be big and shine, if that makes sense.
Yeah. All right, we are just going to take a quick break. I'm going to tell you about Rocket Money. Rocket Money is huge. I mean, I think a lot of you guys can relate to when it comes to your spending, sometimes it's out of sight, out of mind. Whether it's your daily coffee habit, those streaming subscriptions, they add up fast without you even noticing. Rocket Money helps you spot those patterns so you can do something about them and keep more money in your pocket. So they do a lot of things, but I mean, number one, they're going to find those things that you're spending money on that you're not using. And again, give that money back to you. So Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. You can see all your subscriptions in one place. You know exactly where your money is going. For ones you don't want anymore, they're going to help you cancel them. So they have this great dashboard. It gives you a super clear view of the expenses across all your accounts. You can create a personalized budget with custom categories to keep your spending on track. You can get alerts. They have a new goals feature, which automatically saves money for you so you don't have to think about it. I mean, this is just a small step. We have done episodes recently. We had Tori Dunlap on, and even just talking with Brian Kelly, the points guy, about like spending and all these things. Like if you're just like, I want to do one small thing today to save some money, get some more money to spend on whatever, travel, whatever it may be, this is a great place to start. They will even try to negotiate lower bills for you. They automatically scan your bills to find opportunities to save, and you can ask them to negotiate for you. They will deal with customer service. Oh my God, so you don't have to. What a dream. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when they use all of the app's premium features, which is huge. Think of what you could buy with that. So You can cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Download the Rocket Money app and enter Girls Gotta Eat in the survey so they know we sent you. Don't wait. Download the Rocket Money app today and tell them you heard about them from our show.
And this show is sponsored by BetterHelp. So mental health awareness is growing, but there's still progress to be made. 26% of Americans who participated in a recent survey say they avoided seeking mental health support due to fear of judgment. So we want to encourage everybody to remove that stigma and take whatever steps that you need to be happy, healthy. I mean, I'm so impressed when I hear somebody saying, I've sought therapy, I've reached out to somebody who can help me work through these problems. And of course, it's important to talk to your friends and family, but there does come a point where they can't help you. That's not their job. And it's nice to turn to a trained professional. And I see a lot of strength in that. So whatever you need help for, whether it's relationship issues, figuring out what you want to do next in your career, do I want to move to this new city? Or you're just feeling that it's hard to set boundaries with other people. You feel anxiety, you want to sleep better. All these things therapy can help with. And BetterHelp has over 10 years of experience matching people with the right therapist from their diverse network of more than 30,000 licensed therapists with a wide range of specialties. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable and convenient, serving over 5 million people worldwide. And you can easily switch therapists at any time at no extra cost. We're all better with help. Visit betterhelp.com/GGE to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/GGE.
Okay.
I really related to you saying, like, your grandma said to you, like, isn't this the one? And that's so generational for somebody to say to a 21-year-old, don't you feel like this is the one?
Literally.
Yeah.
So
Totally.
But actually your brain hasn't developed at that time. So you haven't gone through like your full brain development to bring you to a point where you're the person that you came here to be. Like, again, until you reach that prefrontal cortex development of your later 20s, you just are running from programming. So you're running from like your priorities being what your parents say, what society says, what culture says, and you actually like don't really know who you are at that time.
And it's quite black and white up until that time.
Yeah.
Like you're reacting instead of responding to your life, instead of like considering nuance. So
Totally. And that's why your Facebook posts are so cringe.
yeah, oh
from
my
men.
God.
Yo.
Our Facebook albums. Our Facebook albums are absolutely bipolar.
Our status update?
Mine are all private. I've made them all
No, my
private.
sister and my best friend from home will send them to me sometimes and be like, yo.
It's
Like,
like,
thank God no one can see this.
yeah, what was some of your Facebook album
Mine
titles?
was always like rap lyrics.
Yeah.
No, like mine was like 2 bitches, 3 amigos. Like, and then it would be like my friends like peeing in a corner and be like, yo, haha. Like,
Yes. Like one
Me at a
album
Jersey
for one
party.
night out.
Oh,
I
yeah,
did that
one
all the
album.
time.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But I love your point about the nuance too. And it's tough also to navigate in, again, this like social media TikTok age where a lot of people are just putting out advice ranging from career to dating to whatever that's very black and white and not nuanced. And it comes with age too. And that's what we try to do, which you guys try to do on your show too. Like everything is not like a soundbite on TikTok.
No.
And if he does this or if she does that, you know.
Girl, everyone keeps coming to me with the golden retriever black cat shit. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
What is that?
It's just like all my like I have a friend that literally every lens she's like, oh, that's black cat golden retriever. So basically the theory is
I
that
say it too.
I'm obsessed with you and you can say it
Because I'm
and
older than you, you know.
But it lacks
basically.
nuance.
So I think it lacks nuance. So basically it's like as a woman you should be a black cat, which is basically elusive, not fully attached, more detached.
Okay.
More kind of standoffish and cold and have him be golden retriever where he's more obsessed with you, more into you, kind of like follows you around, right?
Yeah. Well, they just say that those are the best relationship dynamics, quote unquote best, that
Yes.
that's what works out for people. I think the people are more nuanced than that and deeper.
totally.
And I look at my relationships in my 20s, they were like simpler. I think I just didn't know to even ask anything of
Yes,
somebody.
totally.
I couldn't name behaviors. Like you just get older, you have more vocabulary, you have higher standards. That's why men date 21-year-olds.
Yep, dum-dums.
Instead of
Yeah.
41-year-olds.
Yes.
You know, I think 21-year-olds are wonderful. They're full of rich advice, but they're different than 40-year-olds.
Yes.
But I think like
Yeah.
when you are, I'm curious about your experience with this, but like when you're with your person, it's not like I'm with my person, everything's easy, everything's perfect. It's like you're being called to like the next level of you in a lot of ways where like they might like invite you into a growth edge that you're like, ooh, but I feel safe with you to do it and it feels right. But it's not like smooth sailing. Does that ring true?
Yeah. And I mean, we have been together, we're coming up on 2 years. It still feels very much like honeymoon phase.
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah.
like just recently we had kind of a tough conversation and there's part of me that's like, this is going to change us forever. It's just, it's not real. Like
Yeah.
it's not how, and I know better, but to be able to work through it together. I feel like emotional together to be able to work through it together on like a Friday evening, kind of like cancel a dinner reservation. Let's just stay in to kind of like talk through something, like hug it out, and then have like the best weekend ever. I felt closer to him than ever. Like I'm like, that's so special, and it's growth, and it's not what I'd experienced in previous relationships. Like
that's intimacy.
These
that's
little
conscious.
like conflicts don't have to break down the relationship. They strengthen them. And I say conflicts even loosely, like tough conversations.
Conflict repair is so huge.
Yeah.
I think, just to your point and then to your point, I was in a relationship for 10 years and we were married, and I'm divorced now for 2 years. And I remember, we met so young, like, especially for me.
No,
like
were you
16, something like
child
that.
bride?
I was child bride. And I just remember my standards and my list. Like, I made a list before I met him. And I was like, it lacked vocabulary. It lacked nuance. It was like all ego things. It was like, he's this tall. He looks like this.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, he's like funny and cool, but it wasn't like he has emotional availability. He's like got all these things. And I think when you get older, you have so much of that. And one thing that we lacked, and this was my responsibility too, was our ability to have conflict repair.
Mm-hmm.
Like we really did not know how to have conflict that brought us closer. And so over the years, it just brought us further and further apart and just made it a lot harder to come back together.
I'm so interested in those type of relationships where you meet somebody really young, you're together 10 years. It is really your formative relationship years. And that person forms the lens through which you see relationships. And how long were you married?
A year.
And do you talk about the breakdown of the relationship on your podcast?
I have before. Basically, what I'll say is that I'm not hiding anything, but it's really gray because it's like over such a long period of time. And there's so many different aspects and things that you remember that it's never a thing. Like I remember being younger and being like, oh, so you broke up. Who cheated? Like who lied? What's the issue? And like when you have a relationship that long, there's so many issues that happen and pop up over time. I don't even know what I would say.
That's valid. And I don't think that there's always some big thing. It's sometimes hundreds of little things.
Yeah, that's what it
and
was.
it might, and it's also with
and
a lot of and I feel like a lot of people have those relationships that they start in their 20s and then they kind of make that transition to their 30s and they're like, am I supposed to be with this person anymore? We have a lot of friends who are like kind of realizing that.
Yeah.
And I think it's so much about one, you both are growing and changing, period. Like that's supposed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And people get surprised when that happens.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, why are you're different? And it's like,
that's the point.
Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah.
And I think people are so uncomfortable when people close to them change.
Mm-hmm.
They're making meaning out of it and what it says about them, what it says about the relationship. And really, like, relationship should be a place where you can grow and change and feel safe to do so and supported to do so. But I feel like that ripe time, 20s to 30s, it's like, if you're unable to navigate that, like it's hard. It's hard to make it last in a real way.
I feel like I'm so grateful because I obviously wouldn't be the woman I am. And he was such a good place for me to become the person that has the business and does the thing. But I think when I realized that later years of our relationship is I was kind of running the template that I saw growing up in the Midwest, like the template of my parents, which was, and this was just my experience, like the woman was over functioning, doing everything in the household, like managing the finances, kind of managing the health of the relationship, like, and I was just completely over functioning, doing everything kind of like the masculine almost in the relationship. And that's what I saw growing up. And the man was more emotionally unavailable. The woman was like more, whatever. And there was one time I was like home for the holidays and it was Thanksgiving and I was witnessing my dad and my mom and their new partners because they're divorced and remarried, but we all hang out. And I was like watching them and all the men were just sitting on the couch watching TV. Like totally like dead, like zombies. And then the women were like cooking, cleaning, communicating, talking, planning everything, and just like flying around, like flitting around everywhere. And I was like, yo, this would have been my life. Like of that type of relationship where there's no real connection, there's no real intimacy, there's no real partnership. And I was like, I'm so glad I opted out of that. I'm going from a good relationship that was good in some ways to like a very epic, deep, meaningful relationship that can meet me now.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that example that scene you just set is going to resonate with a lot of people too.
What did you guys see as your parents growing up?
My parents split when I was really young.
Yeah.
And my mom got remarried and I don't know. My mom just like she's always in charge of everything. She raised the kids. She did all the plans. I mean, she just did absolutely everything. My stepdad went to work. He was like a nice person, but I didn't have both parents in the home. So I don't know that I have a touch point the way that you guys might. Like Ashley's parents were married. It was different. My stepdad was like happy to help if he needed to, but he wasn't going to try to like overstep. Like my dad was a full-time parent outside the house.
Yeah. My dad, I see similarities between him and my fiance a lot. My dad like does a lot. You see women just run everything. Like the man can't function without the woman. And I mean, my parents are just kind of different. I mean, now they live on this farm. My mom couldn't live there without my dad. Like there's some health things going on, but he's just always running around, always busy. Like he's not the dad, the husband, I guess, that's like on the couch with the beer while the woman like runs everything. They like really have to be a team with like everything. I mean, cooking, cleaning, the household, all that stuff. So that I witnessed that growing up, but that's maybe a little more rare.
A real team.
Yeah, that's nice. I remember there's this meme that's like, the man that you're supposed to be with isn't the one you have to use gentle parenting techniques with.
Yeah.
I see so many of my friends doing that where it's like these women that are just, and this is no shade, I love men. Like I deeply love men. I'm so grateful for all of them in my life and they serve a very special purpose. But it's like, I see so many women that I'm friends with or that I know or that I coach that are like, just like having to like completely just
parent and adult.
Yeah, and I refuse to do it. If I feel that I'm doing it, I'm not doing this, and I don't do it. Like
and how unfair is it that it turns you into this horrible version of you,
the nagging wife? Yeah,
I have a girlfriend that recently said to me she's going through a breakup, and she's like, every day she was like, I asked him 30 times nicely, and then I escalated, and and all of a sudden I'm this like bitch.
Yes,
it's so unfair. You've made me be like this.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, I'm dying to ask you guys a question because we get emails like this sometimes.
Yeah, I know. I just have so much to ask about your personal.
I'm so excited.
Well, we get emails a lot that say like, I don't know if I should leave or stay. I'm with this person that's like a good person. I trust him. They're a good enough partner. I see what's out there. I don't know that I want that. Like, when do you know?
My family likes him.
Yeah. I mean, when do you know when to leave a relationship that's just kind of like whelming around there? I mean, I'm curious what you guys would say.
Yeah, I would need more context, but I think in general, I'd be curious if they've made an effort to bring that into like a conscious conversation with each other rather than like trying to control it and like fix the person or the thing. It's like, can we actually call out what's going on in a way that's like, hey, let's do us against the problem rather than you're doing this wrong. You need to fix this. It's like, hey, this is what we're experiencing. I would love to hear from you as well. But until you can have that conversation, it's just, what are we doing?
Right. Like, have you ever been like, hey, the vibes are off?
Yeah,
you know, like,
they're like, do you probably feeling it too, unless they're totally
this is
dead.
sus vibes,
I think that's like, we forget that. And I remember saying that to a friend of mine years ago because she like really wanted to cheat on her partner. She was like, I'm really.
Yo, bro, before I got married, I was like, I kind of want to be open. I was on a walk with my friends on the beach and they're like, what? I'm like, I want to try open.
Seriously. She was just sort of like flirting with other guys. And I could tell she was like testing the waters because she wasn't that happy. And I was like, I promise you, he feels like this.
Yeah, totally.
Right.
Like, I promise you, if you're not enjoying the sex and you feel like it's gone stagnant, the whole relationship, he also feels like this.
Yes.
Unless, to your point, there is a totally oblivious person, which you don't want to be with that guy either.
Yeah, you don't want to be with that guy either.
I think there's three things. So I want to say I can share my story and experience with it from leaving mine. And then also I always think, because people ask me this a lot of when to like leave. I think if your values are no longer aligned, I think that's huge. You know, what are your values? Like, I think when you can crystallize your values in life, my values are like truth, freedom, like beauty, as an example. Say that's where the values. If they don't have the same aligned values, then you guys don't have the same way of functioning in the world. So I think it's really good to look at that. I think a caveat to that is that oftentimes people say values that they're not living. So oftentimes people will say like, my values are family, and they'll see their family once a year. You know what I mean?
That's
so
so
it's like you actually have to like be in alignment with your values. I think if there's abuse, obviously abuse, you have to leave the relationship. And I think third, if you guys don't have a vision that's aligned for the future, then you're not going to be going in the same direction. And I remember specifically one time I was in the park and I was like desperate. I was trying everything, you know, to keep my relationship intact. And I was like trying all my spiritual shit. And I was like, what is your vision for the future? You know, like just like whatever. The vision he said and the vision I had were completely different, and we didn't even include each other.
Wow.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
I remember like I said mine and then he said his. And after he said his, I was like, I'm not in this man's vision.
Right.
Wow.
And I remember walking and leaving the park and I was like, yo, like
That didn't go as planned.
it did not go as planned. But I also realized I wasn't included. You know what I mean? Like we both, so it's like checking in on the vision is good. I think the conversation is really good. But I think it's also a personal thing. Like I don't want a mediocre life. I want deep I'm so deep. I'm so like intentional. I can't have a relationship that is not deep and intentional and fulfilling. Like mediocre doesn't work for me. Mid doesn't work for me. But if you're someone that's like satisfied in life and can like just enjoy like having good conversations and dinners and having a good partner every once in a while, like that's fine. But if you want more for your life, you're going to have to like choose the harder path, which sometimes means you're alone for a little bit to have the person that's like the epic fit for you.
Yes.
I think emotional depth is so important. And like where a lot of women, and I say women just because like I think of my friends and my close circle of friends, like get tripped up is with a really good on paper, nice guy that treats them well, which is also hard to find.
Yeah.
So that's where we get these emails of like, and I feel like I can read between the lines of a lacking of emotional depth. And that's when you start to maybe have an emotional affair or whatever reason, start to doubt the relationship. I don't know why I brought affair into, but you see that happen. Somebody just find somebody that gets you more.
Yeah. I have so much. I have two. Sorry, I keep talking so much, but I have so much to say about this. I feel like there's a difference between emotional depth and emotional maturity. We've all met the dude that's like, you meet them and they're so deep. They're like, yo, the bottom of the ocean is like the same as like the sky and like da-da-da-da. And they're like, what do you think about
Especially
aliens?
in LA. Have you met the deep dudes in LA?
Totally.
Do you, can you
Every guy I
even-
go out with is this guy.
But the LA bros, man, it's like,
He's
so
like,
they're
do you
deep.
want space to talk?
No, but
You're
there's
so
a
right, yeah.
there's a level of emotional maturity that they lack.
Yeah.
And emotional maturity is accountability, you being able to stand conflict
Consistency.
resolution, consistency. Like so there's just a difference in that. And I think sometimes we women can get bamboozled by the depth and think it's the same as maturity. And it's not. Like, because sometimes a man that's not deep is emotionally mature.
Totally.
And so that's totally different. And then I think too, sometimes we as women approach men and we want them to have the same level of depth and texture as women, and they will not for the most part.
Yeah.
Like the way that I can be with Lindsey
Yep.
and be like walking in a room and be like, hey man, and like she can feel what I'm feeling and she can ask me the right questions and we can go to every which where and place. A man might not be able to read me like that. A man might not be able to go and ask me the questions that I want him to ask. And I think we just need to be a little bit more understanding of like the texture that men do provide in relationships, which is really beautiful, but no, it's not the same as women.
Yes. And I have thought of this too when I'm having some of these conversations with my fiance, like, cause he really gets me. He's really in tune and he's really intentional and he's really emotionally mature, but he's just still not a woman.
Yep.
And I'm just kind of like, I feel like I'm doing some mental gymnastics sometimes. Like, what is he not saying? And he's just not having the thoughts that I'm having.
Totally.
Yes.
My whole thing with men, I'm like, what are you thinking about? And they're like, bro, nothing.
Literally.
They're like
so
elevator
often,
music.
Space travel.
We need to say out loud what we need, what we're thinking.
Totally.
Because
And I do, yeah.
Even to this day
Yeah.
with my husband, I'm like told him the other week something that I was like, I was feeling in a moment, and he was like, whoa. He's like, this is blowing my mind. He's like, I was not even thinking about that. Like I was not even, and it's not even that he was like not in tune with me, but I'm really good at not showing when I like something's going on within me. I'm really good at that. But I was like, you should know you're my husband. Like you should pick up on this shit. And he's like, yo, I did not. He's like, I need you to like even pull me aside in those moments. Like if you are moving through that, like I'm happy to like be with you in that moment. He's like, but I had no idea. And I was like, dude, your brain works totally different than mine.
Yeah.
And it's fine.
Yeah, he's
and
great.
I actually need a little bit of that. I need like a little bit of that linear like track that your brain moves on a lot of the time. And I need that like not caring about certain things at times from him. So like you can even like take a little taste from your partner where it's like, I could actually use a little bit more of that.
Because I have always said, like, he can read my mind. He can anticipate my needs. He, like, knows me in and out. But again, there's just, then sometimes when it comes down to a conflict scenario, we are just different animals.
You guys have just lived such different lives because, like, Krista, you were with somebody for 10 years all through your 20s. And then, Lindsey, you met your husband at 33?
I was single for like 7 years. I met him when I was 25. I was a bottle girl.
Yeah, and you if you
then
guys want to
we-
listen back, she
and
told
then
the
we
full
reunited.
story.
Yeah, we reunited at 33.
I think that so many people are like rushing towards the serious, most important relationship in their life in their 20s. And I'm like, just wait for yourself to develop a little bit.
100%.
Wait for men to develop a little bit. Like meeting someone in your 30s. Oh,
Yeah.
How do you see relationship right now? Do you want a relationship? What are you feeling?
I've been oscillating back and forth because I've been having some like really nice days alone, and I'm like, do I really need this? I don't know. Like, I've been dating a lot. This is the most I've dated in years. I'm really like pedal to the metal, just sleep around, date around, do it all, and I'm enjoying it. And I'm in a phase of my life where I can really enjoy it because we always say when it's not enjoyable, don't do it. You're gonna go into every date with a negative attitude, and I'm having like a lot of fun and I'm loving it.
Right.
But I don't know. I've been oscillating back and forth recently of like, my life is really good. And like, it's really hard to be in a relationship. You have to prioritize somebody else's feelings and their schedule and their lives and what they want and their whole personality. And I'm like, do I really want
Their
to
whole personality?
I mean, it's still funny because I still resonate with like this single woman. Like I'm like, Tracy Ellis Ross is my icon. Like that interview, Tracy Ellis Ross and Michelle Obama. I'm like, yes, queen. And I'm like, can I even post
And
this
he's
anymore?
like, he's like in the room.
I'm
You're
like, I'm like, am I appropriating by
do you
posting
see that Whoopi Goldberg quote where she's like, I don't want someone in my house.
Yes.
I don't see my house.
People send it to me.
Yo, I'm like, that is the biggest facts.
And then I think that like the goal is to find something that makes you feel that way. Like it's to feel like I can exist in my life and have my free time and you are a value add and I'm so amped. Like her fiance picked us up from the airport the other day and they like hugged and they're so cute to see each other. And I was like, the goal is to feel like when you come back, you don't want to like be alone and rot on a Sunday, that you're like amped that person's there.
Yes.
Like came home early to be with them.
Yeah. Like that's the feeling I'm chasing. And until I find that, I am fine to be alone.
Yes.
That's how I feel. Where do you feel?
I do feel like I'll say, and then I just wanted to say this. I do feel like, because my ex and I met when we were younger, it was like 24 or something. I don't even remember. We were younger. And, during that time when you meet that young, we were kind of checking each other at every decision point of who we were and our values and where we were going. And although it didn't end up values aligned, it was like, do we like this? Do we want to do this? And so there was that point where you're kind of so consciously and unconsciously making decisions together that when I'm older, now that I'm 12, it's like I have to like find someone where it's like we've both had a whole life and we both have a whole developed personality and preferences of experiences that we have to kind of like meet on. Where when you're younger, you're kind of clocking those and creating those at the same time. Yeah. But I think for me, I don't want a relationship right now. I really deeply love. I'm dating someone right now. I don't know if I have a boyfriend or not, but I don't want a relationship.
Jury's out. I was like, if there was a camera over here, you'd see my eyes go.
I know. I feel like half the people listening to this are like, that's my scenario too.
No, literally.
I'm dating somebody. I don't know if we're in a relationship.
I don't know. Last night, Lindsey, I was like, said something about our conversation. Lindsey goes, so he's your boyfriend. And I'm like,
whoa.
I don't know.
We have this funny clip of Ashley going like from years ago talking about her fiance now. And she was like, I don't know what to call him. And I was like, boyfriend. And she was like,
like boy.
That's my boyfriend.
Once I have to say husband, get out. I can't.
It's going to really trip me out when she says husband.
Well, okay. So I want to, and I really want to talk about motherhood as well. But my two main questions for you guys were being single post-divorce and how it's been and how it's changed you in whatever ways. And
yeah, I mean, honestly, it's so crazy and cringe because I listened to clips of me talking when I was like about to be engaged and married, and I thought I knew, honey. I was like, you have to like da 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 da, and like they're gonna, and I just like was giving relationship advice and just like,
what was that? So we have early episodes that no one should go and listen to, but you were talking, and our voices were just so different. But you're like.
I was like, so here's the thing about Justin.
You just have to talk to them.
Yeah, I was like,
you just have to communicate.
When I met him, I knew he was my one. And like, you guys have to wait for that, okay?
like, dude, so bad. Ugh. So post-divorce, I've been divorced for like a little over 2 years now. Mm-hmm. The first year I didn't date at all. I was like, I just want to recalibrate. Because when you're in a relationship that long, you are, I'm very spiritual and energetic. So I'm like, you're very cellularly communicating with that person all the time. I wanted to be in my own frequency. I wanted to be like, what do I like? Who am I? Yeah. How do I move in the world? And so I took the year off and then I started dating like a year or so ago, maybe a little over a year. And it's been a fucking blast. I literally love it. But I choose for it to be fun. I've had heartbreak. I've had people ghost me. Like I've had shitty experiences, but I'm like, I just am choosing for it to be fun. I'm choosing for it to be interesting. I'm choosing to learn about myself. I'm choosing to enjoy the process. And I have enjoyed the process. And honestly, I think I was telling you guys before, it's so humbling, bro. when you're in a relationship for 10 years, you think you fucking know. You're like, she should not be doing that. You know, you're kind of like, she should wait for the man. And then now I'm like, yo, I got ghosted again last night. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't even know if I'm in a relationship.
Literally, I'm like, I might be in a relationship. I might not. He thinks I'm 24. It's all good.
Oh my God.
Like the things that you do when you're like single again is just like insane.
You could do all the work in the world. You could like be in therapy twice a week. You could have done the ayahuasca. You do
my
this.
therapist goes on last week. She goes, huh? And I go, what? And she's like, you did it again. And I'm like, what? She's like, he's unavailable. And I'm like, fuck. Like I was like, oh, I thought I had passed
If I
this
weed
test.
out all the unavailable guys, there won't be any guys.
100%. I was like, he's a different package of unavailable. I
Was
like,
that year of your life so transformative? Like,
the being single?
yeah, like
Yeah.
what did that feel? Was it,
It
just
was the
every
best.
emotion under the sun, like ups and downs and just,
You know
I
what's
mean,
funny is I think people talk about this, but women usually process in the relationship. So I was processing the divorce when I was
Okay.
in the relationship. For the last 2 years of the relationship, probably I was like, it's ending. We're going to transition. So when he moved out, I was so cool, bro.
Okay.
It wasn't easy, but I was just like excited to rebuild my
Yeah.
life. And I think it's so beautiful for women. And I think when I was younger growing up with breakups, it was like, gotta have the ice cream, get all my friends. My life sucks. This is miserable. And I was like, yo, my life got exponentially better. I got my deeper friendships. I felt better in my body. I felt just everything got better for me because I was no longer hiding. I was no longer doubting myself. I was no longer fearful. And so it was actually a really beautiful year, although like there were aspects of it that were of course hard and I didn't expect myself to be single, but it was good.
Lindsey, can we talk about being a mom?
Sure, guys.
What's the best thing? No,
No, what's the worst?
Do you
thing?
want kids?
Neither of us, actually 100%. I always say I could see a world in which I meet there's one person ever I've offered to have kids with in the last few years.
And I heard she said this at a dinner and I wasn't there to check her on it. And they were like,
I was trying to get laid. That was my dirty talk with that guy.
night?
Yeah,
Trying to get
I was
pregnant
like,
that
no,
night.
we could have kids together. It'll be fine. Well, I want to I want to hear about you being a mom, and you guys talk a lot about like body image, and I do want to tie that
I
in
do
with
too.
it, and sex and body image as a mom, and all that.
Huge.
But
Yeah,
you're really open about your journey. That I like when people honestly show parts of motherhood. There was like a day, this was a while back, but it stuck with me because like your day kind of got thrown out of whack because of your newborn baby and you were supposed to write or something and you just were very open about like, this is real life. It's like unpredictable.
Yeah, like your relationship with time completely changes when you have a kid because I'm a plan. I like to plan. I like to feel like I know what my day is going to look like. I like to know what to expect. And having a child, like your relationship with unpredictability has to be fucking tight. And so, yeah, I've just learned to be very agile and yeah, man, I'm meeting parts of myself I haven't met in a long time, like good parts and parts that I kind of want to like tend to. Like, for example, I mean, in the middle of the night after like the fourth wake up and I've had like 2 hours of sleep and know I need to be up at a certain time, whatever, I'm like, the impatience, the like frustration, that like kind of ragey part comes out. And I'm like, yeah, but this is my child. Like, why aren't you a little more patient? You know, I've always known that I wanted to be a mom. And it's like the first time probably in a long time that I really felt like I'm at home with myself. It's like, it's a very interesting feeling. Like I felt on purpose in my life, but this is just a feeling like I know I'm not going to make $1 million for being a mom, right? Like, you know, they're not going to get the validation that you get from like pursuing the career and the accolades and the likes and all the things. But it is just like a different type of compensation that I'm just like, this is that shit. This is really supposed to be a part of my life. Related to my body, I mean,
and we don't have to frame it as being a mother, by the way, because you talk about it in the book, your body being different as you turn 30 and 35 and 40.
I mean, we both had our own journeys with our bodies. And I think mine has gone from, I never listened to my body. When I was younger and in my 20s, I mean, my body was sending me messages about the guys I was dating. It was sending me messages about how much alcohol I was consuming, about what I was eating and not eating, and the people I was surrounding myself with. It was always telling me the right and wrong, but I was never listening. And so when I started to listen is when I started to notice like positive changes in my body. It wasn't as stressed. We were homies and I got what it needed. And then when I got pregnant, I had a hard time the first few months. And I think a lot of women experience this, especially in that first trimester. The changes in the body are really intense. It's like the first trimester, you're chubby.
Mm.
And so no one knows you're pregnant. And that's kind of a weird feeling because you're just like, you're not going to tell anyone, but you're also experiencing so many changes. You feel like shit. And it's also just a lot of unknown, especially if it's your first. Like you don't know what's normal, what you're supposed to be feeling. But fast forward, I mean, birth was insane. I will never, ever disrespect my body again. Like it just, to know that your body knows what to do, not only in birth, but like throughout your life, your body really, really knows, you know? So if you're listening, you will most likely be guided into what you need to do or how you need to treat it. But yeah, now, I mean, after like breastfeeding for a year and a half, my boobs are, this is a structured bra, but like boobs are little pancakes.
You both look amazing.
You know, it's just different. It's different.
Yeah.
And like to relate to my husband in a different way, like he's still like, damn. And I'm like, really? But we just, this is part of a relationship where like we're going to change over time. And I like my work is to embody and appreciate like what my body's done for me. So yeah, it's like that constant journey of body love. It doesn't really stop.
What's your vibe with it, body?
I've had disordered eating my entire life.
Yeah.
I think
I know,
that, like,
honestly, our generation, bro.
yeah. I mean, I started with the diet pills when I was like 11 or 12.
My dad bought me some when I was 13.
Oh my God.
He's the homie.
My mom would like
From,
chase
like,
me around the
GNC.
house. She'd be like throwing out the no-dos and the Dexatrim and all this stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's pretty common. I also had like really big boobs and I was super developed at a young age. And so I've thought about my body a lot my whole life. And it's interesting. A lot of people talk about, like you talk about in your book, the change in your body as you get to your 30s. I actually thought I'd never look better than when I got to my 30s because like you said, I listen to myself a little bit more.
Yeah.
I drink less. I work out more. I take walks. I mean, I just move more. My skin's better. My hair's better. My body's better since my 30s.
Yes.
insane.
Because I finally listen to myself. I'm not bloated and
I know, like
hating
you're,
myself.
I can't relate to the like body in your 20s because I was just bloated.
Yes.
You drank so much and then you eat poorly and you just are not treating your body well. So I have always been a confident person, but my weight and the way I looked was always on my mind. I used to be a lot heavier, like in my 20s. I don't know, it's weird to talk about being thin, but I mean, now at 41, like this is the thin,
Yeah.
this is best I've ever felt and looked. And I'm noticing changes, like you're noticing changes in your breasts and your skin and these things. Like it's aging. It's not easy.
Yep.
You just have to accept it and, you know, do what you can do. But it's so much of like the intentional eating and, you know, I work out to feel good, like mentally, and not so much. I'm not killing myself at the gym. Like I used to, obviously I want to feel like fit and strong, but it's more just like the mental health aspect of it all to like go to yoga, to get on the Peloton, whatever it is. But yeah, I finally figured it out. I look back and I'm like, why was I in my 20s and I couldn't get a handle on my eating?
Yeah.
And I'm like, because it was emotional eating. I wasn't happy. Like the happier I got, the better.
Yes.
I don't know. It's all connected.
It is so connected.
Yeah. I remember, and I know you had something similar that you can speak to, but like that late night after I would have like a night out searching for my husband, you know, found no one. And I would be on the ride home planning what I was going to house
Totally.
when I got home to kind of fill that part
Remember
that
one
didn't
time you
get
ate like
filled.
4 pieces of pie?
What the fuck?
the
are you
house
talking
down.
Yeah, you did. There was like a lot
She's
of
like,
pie
Krista,
at
don't
the
tell anybody
house.
that.
That sounds like something I would do.
It was
I
so
did a whole
weird 'cause
pie.
I was like, pie?
Was that a bad dream you had?
No, I swear to
A whole
goodness.
pie. Well, Lindsey, I like that you talk about, and I want to hear Krista's journey too, but like, I like that you talk about getting a handle on your body and you didn't mention weight at all. It's just sort of like how you emotionally felt about your body.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think to get to a place where I can respect what my body is capable of. And I think like motherhood kind of helped me
Totally. I
with
feel like
that.
I hear that from
you know,
moms for sure.
and that's with anything like physical that your body can do. So, you know, motherhood out of it, it's like if I were to fucking train for a marathon and I could do that, like I would respect my body in a different way. If my body brought me through a really hard season of my life, like I would, you know, it's like having those experiences with your body, I think are very profound. But I'm curious how you guys feel. I think there's like a peace, because I will say weight. I'll say a peace weight or a peace like homeostasis that we can have in our bodies that we know when we attain it. So I feel like you guys are there now where it's like you feel really good in your bodies, but also it's like a natural place where you feel peaceful, you feel confident, you feel like you're not trying too hard.
I think just to that, I want to speak to, because I think some people could hear that and be like, oh yeah, my peace weight is, the lowest weight they've ever thought of in their whole life. Because that was me. I remember I had a goal weight when I was living in New York City, and I was like, I think at the goal weight or before, but I was like, oh, I need more. Like I was like, this is my goal weight. This is the weight that will make me happy. On the other side of this is the life that I want and is the life of my dreams. And then I got there and was like, yeah, I think 5 more would be good. Like I was like, 5 less would be good. The goalpost moved. And now I'm at a place where I have no idea how much I weigh, but I feel so at peace. This is my whole thing with it. It's like, it isn't even about the body. It's our relationship to it. Because you could be a heavier weight and be at peace. You could be a lower weight and be at peace. I do believe that the body has like a natural set point that it likes to be at.
100%.
But I think it doesn't matter if it's at that or not. If the body's happy, if our mind and relationship to it is off. And I think so many women of our community, and I think so many women in the world struggle so much with their bodies. Like whether they feel insecure about their bodies, they're too curvy, they're too straight, they're too short, they're too fat, they're too thin, whatever. And I think for so many of us, and I think I'll speak for myself, like I was just constantly in a Tetris game of my mind of this is how many macros I've had today. This is how many calories. I need to walk this much to burn the calories off. I need to go to SoulCycle. And then this is how much I weigh. This is how much I should weigh. And that's a normal loop for a lot of women. Getting up in the morning, this is how many, you know what I mean? Doing that math, like using so much mental energy to think about changing their bodies. And it almost becomes something that exists outside of the body itself, where the body isn't even involved in that mental conversation. And when I realized that, I'll never forget it. I was walking across my apartment floor in Venice and I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to die with this.
With this feeling.
I think I'm going to live my whole life fighting my body and my weight and playing the game in my head. And it was just like a surrender almost, where I was like, okay, cool. This is what it is. And this is how I'm going to live. And, I think after that point, I found my therapist that I worked on my body with. And I really started my true body journey of healing my mother wound, healing the energetic relation, healing all of these like things that have helped me. And then it was like almost like post-divorce when I really started to look at how I was relating to food, because when I was in that relationship, I was stuffing down so many emotions. And I think for a lot of us, we use food to avoid feeling.
Yes.
We could feel sad where we eat. We could feel happy, we eat. We could, food to soothe, food to cope, food to celebrate, food to all these things. And I was using food in this really, dysfunctional way. And so once I broke that relationship, I was like, I'm actually going to feel what I need to feel. And then I could really be free in my body. And I think now that I've felt so at home in my body and so at peace, it's the one thing in my life where I'm like, I never thought I would get. And who knows if it's going to be like this forever. But the fact that I've got this is like some of the greatest, like for me, proof that like the work works.
Thank you for sharing that. And it's a profound statement to think I'm going to die like this. And I think we forget how ingrained this is in our life to like think about our bodies, criticize our bodies. I mean, from the time I was like 12 years old, there was a scale in our bathroom. There was like, the shower, the toilet, the scale right there. And I weighed myself every single morning, starting from the time I was like 13. And this went on for 20 years. I started my day with what is the number on this scale and how is this going to affect the rest of my day? And what a crazy way to start your day. And there was never a number. There was never a number at which I was happy. It was just like, yesterday the number was different. I don't like this number, 5 pounds less. Like, when I threw that scale away and stopped starting my day like that, it changed my whole fucking life.
You determine like your worth based on that. You determine your happiness based on that. And just thinking about that prison, and like the fact that your soul has so much to do here, to live, to love, to laugh, to do all this stuff. And you're just like, none of that is possible now because I'm 3 pounds more than I want.
Right. I know. I mean,
it's psychotic.
If you would have told me at 25 that at 41 that I would be 20 pounds thinner and not thinking constantly about what I was eating or not eating, I wouldn't believe you. I'd be like,
I know.
Well, first of all, that's not true because like everybody knows, like once you hit 30, it's all downhill. All these are like lies. Like crazy stuff, and
lies.
I mean, then the hormones play into it. I mean, getting off the pill was such a game changer for the way my body looked, but just all the things.
Yeah. Big time.
But then you got to figure out what to do so you like don't get pregnant. I mean, whatever. It's like being a woman is
we talk about that in the book too, because it's like for so many women that later 20s, and even for us, like I got off birth control, I think when I was like 26, And I remember calling my ex and I was like, hey, I'm like off birth control. He didn't even know. I was like, okay, sounds good. I'm like, okay, I'm doing this. Like, and it changed my whole life. Like for so many women, we are replacing what is naturally a hormone in our body with something that is synthetic. So your brain chemistry is based on synthetic things. The way you relate to yourself and others is synthetic. So I think the birth control thing is huge. And I think now women, are looking at it differently where we're not going to birth control immediately. We're finding other solutions. And it's not like birth control is bad, but for us, it was really powerful to get off of it.
Well, we're just not like informed. You know what I mean? So we
Yeah.
go on it. I went on it because I wanted to treat my acne and I was like having sex with my high school boyfriend.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, okay, cool. And I thought it was like a rite of passage.
Me too, same.
I was like, I'm a woman now.
Yeah, I'm on the
Did you guys
pill.
have the alarms on your phone
Yeah.
in college where
seven-
you'd be like,
I would forget to take it and then take like 3 in a day.
oh my God.
And we always like to clarify, like,
Yes.
we also live in a time where when it comes to women's reproductive health, like birth control is so important and like women
Absolutely,
being
yeah.
able
Yeah,
to like
that's a
plan
great
their lives,
point.
everything.
Yep.
It's just, and I'm on a hormonal IUD, Rayna's on a non-hormonal.
Mhm.
And I found that it really worked
Yeah.
for me.
Yep.
Looking back, I think my journey is what it should be, but like, I can't believe I spent that many years on the pill. But I'm also like, I met my now fiance a month after I got off it. Like everything played out the way it was
Yeah.
supposed to. And I think became my true self. But we don't have a lot of information.
Yeah.
Are you guys both just raw dog?
Raw
Raw
dog.
dog
Okay.
since 2018. I was on it for 10 years. I went on at 18, got off at like 28, I think. And yeah, raw dog.
And you got to be
I just
careful.
laughed the
You have
other
to-
day because
yeah.
I
tracked-
told my sister, I was like, I was like, in my entire life of knowing you, like me and my sister are so close. I was like, have I ever had a scare? And she's like, no. I was like, I think I'm having a scare. She's like, damn. I was like, okay, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But I was like, wow, I'm like a rite of passage to have a scare,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
I suppose.
too.
Yeah,
cool.
no, I mean, I think I won scare, but I mean, the recklessness with which I was parading around, not using
Yeah, I
protection
know.
after, was not good, but
We all
as
made
you
it.
do.
We all made it. You
Survived
know?
it.
Yeah.
You know, I've been thinking as I almost turned 40, like the things in my, like, what has the last decade brought me? And, you know, am I where I want to be? I'm when you're almost 30 to your,
Yes.
you know, your book's point, like you do start to take inventory in these decades of
Yeah.
like, where am I? Who am I? Have I achieved enough? Am I making enough
Mm.
money? Like, who are the people in my life? And it is a really like formative moment where you're like, what do I have to change? So you wrote this book for women like 27 to 30 in this phase of life. What do you feel like is the advice you're the most proud of saying to them? What do you want people to take from this book as they barrel towards 30?
I just want to say too, like, you know, this book is absolutely for that age range, but it's also for anyone navigating change. Like I even found like we were reading the audiobook version of this.
Oh, fun.
I was like, damn, I gotta take my own advice.
Bro,
on
me
this.
too. I was like embarrassed a little bit. I was like, fuck, I have not got this down. Like there was the burnout chapter on burnout. And I was like,
I'm burnout as I read this.
I haven't changed at all. Like I like that part. I was like,
Interesting.
yo.
But I think this period is very formative in how you navigate change and your
Mhm.
relationship with change. So I think, you know, one of the things that I took from this period of my life was to trust myself implicitly, you know, and for so long I didn't. For so long I outsourced my truth and I outsourced, you know, what I should do with my life. I outsourced all the answers. And when I started practicing trusting myself, I was like, oh, damn, she really does know, you know, and even if she doesn't know the right answer, she knows the next best, like, action to take that will lead her into the lesson that she needs. Some of us get into hairy situations and we're like, fuck, I can't trust myself. Like that was the wrong choice. And it's like, no, like every choice you make is actually on your path, is actually on purpose and leading you into the lesson that you need, into the growth moment that is for you. So I would say for me, it's just, now is the time to start practicing trusting yourself. It's so important for the rest of your life, in your relationships, in your career, in your relationship with your body. Like it's the foundation. And when I say trust yourself, to get a little woo woo, but we talk about it in the book, it's like that relationship with your soul, the part of you that knows, the part of you that is connected to something greater, that, you know, is non-judgmental, is always there to collaborate with you. She might not be the loudest one in the room, but she's always there.
I think in the book, you know, I felt so lost in life. But when I realized now looking back that me being lost was like me actually getting on the path that was mine, not anyone else's. And I think for anyone, whether you're in your 20s or 30s, it's like being lost in life and not knowing the path means it's actually the path you're meant to be on because it's yours. And I think so many of us look at other people's blueprints or other people's Instagrams or social media and we're like, oh, I should do that or I should do that. And it's like, no, your path will never look like anyone else's. And that's the point. You don't want it to look like anyone else's. And I just wish that we could really learn that when there isn't a clear path, it's the best one. You know, what is made for us will be unknown. And I could think the more we can get excited about it, the better.
Nice. It's really beautiful.
Thank you. Guys. You're not behind, you're becoming. Okay. Turn your mess into magic. I just do all of our 50 taglines.
Exactly. And I want to agree with you that I read a lot of this book. And yes, it is great for any transformative moment in your life where you are like, who the fuck am I and where am I going? And everybody else seems to have figured this out. No, they haven't.
No.
Those people will fuck up and falter too. You just don't see it on Instagram.
Just think about me giving relationship advice.
They will get divorced too.
Yeah, your friends are going to be divorced too. I always say to my friends, so many of my friends are divorced, and I'm like, real G's are divorced.
Well, I love it. And I love that you guys mentioned the audiobook too.
Oh my God.
That's so fun.
It's so fun.
Especially for people who
excited.
like your podcast.
Dude, I'm excited if you guys do it. It was the most fun I've had in
so
years.
Oh my God.
It
do
was
the
my
book?
favorite thing. Because also we started on our closet floors. No video, no nothing.
Oh my God.
Didn't have video for
Totally.
years and years and years.
Us too.
Yeah. So it was like, I
why
loved
video?
that. I loved just being us in the microphone, using our voices as our instrument and being in a booth, no video, recording something that was so meaningful to us and bringing life to the words was just it was so much fun.
Yeah.
I love that. Recording an audiobook would bring us back to our roots.
You
Sitting,
guys.
Oh my
sitting in
God.
my old shitty apartment.
Should we go back to the East Village?
Across from
Yes.
a table I found on Craigslist.
Yes.
Hunched over one mic.
Did we record in one mic for a little while?
Yes, because
right?
we couldn't figure.
yeah.
We
It was
did
for a
the
while.
omnidirectional mic.
Oh my God. Did you have the Yeti?
that too.
You had the Yeti, baby. That
I still
snowball.
have that Yeti.
The snowball Yeti.
That's what everybody did back then. We had just
Everybody.
video for years.
Yo.
Do you guys ever think about
Bring
what
back
if you
no
did?
video.
Oh, I wish
I'm
that
down.
we did. I love to know video.
Oh, the way
Yeah, but
I would show up looking like shit.
Girl, unbelievable.
Yeah, I
know.
I feel like I only started dressing up 1 year ago.
Yeah,
We've been doing
I
video
know.
for 3 years.
Dude, I know. I see at the beginning, when we first started, I didn't want to be dressing up, and now I look back, I'm like,
Dress up.
But it's so funny because
Yeah.
I think sometimes I have a really good outfit and I'm like, I wouldn't wear it to podcast, but that's the most people that are going to see it.
oh my
like
God.
that's
I know.
at least 10,000 people are going to see it on YouTube.
know.
Why
Preach
not?
the thing.
That is so
Preach.
funny.
It's a
But it's
funny
you don't want to
thing.
try too hard.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because
There's
if
a
girls
balance.
try too hard, we get shit.
Yes.
Right.
They like to see
Yes.
us in the sweatpants.
People that
and
show up in a
blah, blah,
loop, but also I was so hesitant to get dressed for podcasting, and now I wear jeans and a top,
Yeah.
a
Yes.
solid color top. I'm not busting out fashion. I'm not
No.
wearing a belt. No, you look great. I love
Thank
your
you so
belt.
much.
But
Thank
I've actually
you.
been staring at your outfit the whole time, and I can't buy the whole thing. But I'm wearing jeans and a top, and I'm not breaking the fashion barriers. But I was
Yes.
really resistant to it.
Every time
Yeah.
someone shows up in a look like Shan, I'm like, I should dress
I
better.
know.
Oh, I know our
I
sister. She came
know.
the other day. She was wearing a skirt and a fur jacket. I was like, "Girl, what season are we in?"
Yeah.
I was like, "What are we doing?"
The
She's
mob
like,
wife.
Yeah,
I
mob
know.
wife life.
Yeah, she
So
showed up in
good.
a whole look.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I know.
so
My girl's
good.
got a whole look, but it looks good when people do a full look. You're
When
like,
you own the look.
yeah, that's
That's
real.
the
You gotta own it.
confidence.
I can't own the look. If I
I
walked
can't-
in the outfit that Shan shows up and you're like, this is such a vibe.
Yeah,
I
she's
couldn't walk
so
in and own that.
beautiful.
Yeah.
She has such a presence.
I know she's so beautiful.
All right.
Well, you guys tell everybody where, the book, of course.
Book comes
but
out
your
tomorrow.
Instagram handles,
Excited.
all the
Love you.
things.
Thanks for having us.
Tell everybody where they can find everything.
Yeah, so the book is Almost 30 is the name, just like the podcast, and it's a definitive guide to a life that you love for the next decade and beyond. So you can have it if you're in your 20s, your 30s, and it really is going from lost to a life that you love, and we're really proud of it. It's just the gift of a lifetime to offer it. You can get it at almost30.com/book or wherever you get books, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, etc. And then Almost 30 is the podcast. We've had the babes on a few times. You can search The Girls Gotta Eat Almost 30 if you want to listen to those episodes. And then Almost 30 podcast on social. And I'm on social at It's Krista.
And I'm at Lindsey Simcik.
We
love
appreciate you guys.
girls.
I love the
Everything
snack
you
heads.
do is amazing. And
love
it's
you
just been really
guys.
wonderful to watch the evolution of your lives
Same.
and meet your partners and
We
all
love you.
that.
You guys are the best.
Thank
Love
you.
you guys.
Explode professionally. Congratulations.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye, snack heads.
And you guys can find us at girlsgottaeat.com, Girls Gotta Eat Podcast on Instagram and TikTok. I'm Ash Hess. Rayna is Rayna.Greenberg. Of course, on YouTube. Hope you're watching on YouTube. If not, get on YouTube, share this episode with a friend, get their book, and we will see you Thursday.
Have a good week, guys.
Bye.